Oh, so suddenly you're poison the air I breathe. But if you don't hate me, then why would you break me? Feel it in my bones, I'm about to lose control. Only so much I'm taking, so get yourself to safety. Cause baby, a storm is coming. You better heed the warning, pray. Don't stay, run away, 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 away. Feel how the rain is pouring. I'm a child.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So yes, before moving ahead to the next modules, I get to unlock the DSA Exam 1. So if you can see, so I need to get at least 70%, and if I get lower than 70%, I'll have to reattempt. You have 2 attempts. Okay, if I fail, okay, so it's going to be based on arrays and patterns. So I have to revise the topics before giving the test. Okay, and if I fail the test 2 times, then I'll have to redo the previous assignments and then again come back to the test. So neither of us want that. So I get only 3 hours of time once I start the test. So no, let me actually do one thing. I'll actually go back and revise for a bit, and yeah, I'll be back and I'll take the exam, and we'll see how it goes. See you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I just had a brief overlook on what are the topics on the main things and patterns and arrays, right? So I didn't really give a lot of prep time. So as you can see, I just went over everything I learned. I went over the patterns, the hack to solve any pattern problem, and as well as sorting algorithms in arrays, and that's about it. So because since it's already 6:30, it's pretty late. I had a lot of things to do today, and couldn't really uh, spend a lot of time on prep. So the first attempt, hopefully I'll clear it, but in any case, this is all the prep that I have. So just 5 to 10 minutes of revision. So I'm going to start the DSA exam part 1, DSA exam 1, and see how it goes, and I'll update you once I'm done with it. Hopefully I'll pass, but in case I do not, I'll at least get a sense of the level of questions that they are asking, and how much preparation is required in order to crack it, because I certainly don't want to go back and do the arrays and looping part again. Right, so yes, this is the first attempt, so I have 3 hours. I'll let you know once I'm done. Okay, stay tuned guys. See you in a while. Hey guys, welcome back. And oh my god, that test was a bit insane for me. I think sorry guys, didn't even realize the mic was elsewhere, so I just put it down on the table. Honestly, the test was pretty insane, right? So as you can see, you can probably even see, the passing cutoff was 70%, and I got exactly that, right? I technically thought I wouldn't make it in the first attempt, and the very surprising thing was one of the first pattern problems that was solved using the formula that, or the hack that I learned, right? The same problem came in the test, right? It was probably the easiest problem, and I didn't get it. I struggled with it for like half the test, right? I struggled with it for like over 40 minutes. I applied the formula, everything seemed fine in my brain, and when I wrote it down on the notebook, but for some reason I wasn't getting the answer. So I went to a brute force method and I solved it, right? Frankly, I don't want to spend more time, but I think I'll go back and revisit those videos on the patterns for sure. And the same thing happened even with another problem, right? So these were problems that Sharpener had created, right? So obviously I can't show the test, it makes no sense. I haven't shown the normal questions itself, so sharing those test questions is, you know, out of you know, possibility here. But anyways, another test question was also pretty much very easy, right? But I was overthinking, right? I complicated the question myself for when I first looked at it for like 15-20 minutes, right? My thoughts were running too fast, and then, you know, I went back. That was question number 3, right? The first question was on patterns, which I was baffled, you know. Here's what I did, right? I thought, you know, this is the patterns questions. I know the formula, I'll definitely be able to crack it, and so I skipped it, right? I directly went to the second question, which was on arrays. It was fairly simple, got it done in like the first attempt, right? It was basically over in like 5-10 minutes, right? The problem was done in 10 minutes. Went on to the third problem, which was the other simpler problem, and I struggled there for like 20 minutes. You know, thought I'll come back to patterns, right? Because what what you need to, what I understand from my experiences in tests, and most of you watching would have given a couple of tests, right? In India, though, tests are pretty predominant. So what I understand is, if you're spending too much time on a problem, you need to take a break in some sense, right? And you can come revisit it, you'll get a fresh outlook. But in test, you also have a ticking time bomb, right? So since I spent 20 minutes and it seemed like a simple problem, I thought I'll go to the patterns, because, you know, I can directly just apply the formula, get the answer, and be over with it. Man, oh man, I was in for a ride on the patterns question, right? It was basically the same question that I'd solved, but for the life of me, I couldn't get the answer. And I almost spent like 40 minutes to an hour just on the patterns problem, and you know, used the brute force approach in the end, right? And then got it done, because see, each completing each question, and each question has a couple of test cases, right? So here's the little trick that I used. So I looked at the number of test cases, right? And then I looked at the score. If I got half the test cases correct, I knew I'd get half the score, right? And once I was done with the patterns, I got completely done. So it was straightforward, got the 250 points, as you can see. Then the second question on arrays, which was done in the first itself, right? Passed all the test cases, so got the 250 points there. So 500. So there are 5 questions of 250 points each, which makes it how much? 25 into 5 is 125. 1250 points, right? So I'm supposed to get 70%, which comes up to 875 points. So now I have 500 points I have in my hand, right? So I was like, okay, fine, let's go back to question 3, this other simpler question. Now, instead of overthinking and doing all of that, took the notebook, took the pen, you know, started jotting it down, like broke down the problem into simpler steps, right? First part of any, you know, problem solving or solving any question basically is understanding what the question is asking, right? So take your time. So I took my time, understood the question. I was like, okay, fine, got the question right. Now I started breaking it down into like 3-4 parts, right? To make it as simple as possible, even if it's brute force, doesn't matter, right? See, arriving at the answer, I feel, is at this point when I'm still learning, is much more important than me trying to get the most you know, refined answer, if I can put it in better words, right? To get the most efficient answer, yeah, that is the one. So getting the answer is much more important. Getting the most efficient answer is definitely the most important thing in web development. But when I'm learning at this stage, I felt like getting an answer is better than not getting any answer at all, right? So even if I don't get the most efficient answer, it's fine, but let me at least get the basic answer. So applied that approach to solving the problem, and after like 20-30 minutes that was done. So got another 250 points. Now I have 750 points. Now I need exactly 125 points more in order to just pass, right? This is to just hit the cutoff, not even to go over the cutoff, right? And in the fourth question, it was tricky. I honestly didn't know how to go about it. It was also based on arrays and sorting. I really thought, I'll have to retake the test, right? I'm not getting the answer, so what do I do? I was like, never mind, let's assume I'm not going to make it to the test. I at least got 3. Let's at least give it a shot and see what I understand in the question. Read the question, it made it understood what the question was asking, right? Put down a brute force solution and used a small little hack in the solution which helped me clear like 4 test cases exactly. It cleared 4. I didn't even know how many test cases were there until I ran it the first time, and I saw that there are 8 test cases and 4 of them cleared luckily. And I was like, okay, fine, let me leave this here, let me go to the 5th question. And surprisingly, the 5th question is on a timer on its own, apart from the entire DSA Exam 1 has a 3-hour timer, and the 5th question alone, from the moment you start, you get only 1 hour. That was the case for me, and that thing was based on geometry, and I hated geometry. I never really understood it that well. I read the question, didn't get it. The moment I read the question, I realized this is a question I won't even be able to attempt, right? I think it was purposely there to just to see, how capable people were. Obviously, there will be some students who got all of them right. Kudos to them. But I was like, okay, 5th question though, it's like out of my league. So now 4th question, I got exactly 4 test cases. I was like, okay, fine, let me see to try and, get all the test cases. I gave another 20 minutes of time at the question, tried another approach, even wrote down the approach on pen and paper, still didn't get it. I was like, I ran the original code again, right? Like, okay, exactly 4 test cases I've passed. By my calculation, I should get at least 125 points, which is half. And that exactly puts me on the 70% mark that, this exam has as a requirement, right? So that's what I did. So at that point, I still had 40 minutes remaining on the test, and honestly, my brain was fried because I never thought, I'd get stuck on the patterns problem at that level. Right, so there's a lot of revision that I have to do. I've realized that. So I'll get started on it like hell, right? So I was like, okay, fine. I'll just submit the test. Submitted the test, and yes, as you can see, this is the score. I've got an exam. I have to submit the score, so I'm doing that. So DSA 1 is completed. So if I go to the dashboard, do I get to go to the next module? Yes. Oh my god. Finally cleared this. Guys, this is honestly like pretty tough, right? And what has been taught helps you get. I'll tell you honestly, I think what I've practiced on Sharpener so far should help me get the 750 points, right? But going from there, that's basically about 60%, right? So getting that extra 10% is a bit of thinking, I feel. Or in my case, I guess I feel I was lucky to get a question which had a fairly simple approach. But I think getting 70%, you'll get, or let's assume, right, anyone on my level or anyone who's starting out can get exactly 70%, in no matter what, right? But this just goes to show that I should not be taking things lightly anymore. Just because I solved a couple of pattern problems doesn't mean I've got it on, I've got it nailed down, right? The approach is like wrong. I still don't know where I went wrong, so I have to go back and revisit those videos. I will do that. But yeah, this definitely was a huge eye opener for me. So I think I'll have to solve a lot more problems apart from just what Sharpener has shared, because Sharpener is quite innovative as well. And from problems they gave, I could see that just getting the 70% is not going to cut it, right? I want to see, getting the 70% was the bare minimum. I got the bare minimum this time around, right? Then now there's a pro test level 1. I think I'll get hammered in that if I don't practice more, right? I'll just get I'll just get the shit beat out of me if I don't practice more for this pro test level 1. So I think the goal is certainly, I am at this stage, I feel like I'm just barely making it. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. At least I should be able to solve, like, I should be able to get 80 to 85% in all the tests or all the DSA exams, right? And in any exam that comes in the future. At least I should be getting that much, 80 to 85%. And at that point, I think I'll have a decent chance of getting a decent job, right? And just making it through, I feel like will cause a lot of issues moving forward. So I'll start hunting for some resources and see what resources that I can share with you guys with regards to DSA specifically, and we'll get working on it. And Sharpener creates some of their questions, right? And they created test cases, so they have their own questions, right? So it's not like they pick all their questions off of lead code. To be honest, I think so far the number of questions that they have picked off of lead code so far in the entire syllabus is probably like 4 or 5, right? That's all the other questions were from Sharpener's own they were made by Sharpener themselves. So don't take things lightly, anyone starting on the Sharpener or in web development, right? You have to learn DSA at some point, so better get started now. And if you are doing DSA and if you are doing it on Sharpener, be aware, this is how it is. Oh shit. So it took me, I started at about 6:17 or something, close to 6:20. It's about 9:10 p.m. right now. So yeah, this was a huge milestone hit for me. It is not huge, it's like a micro milestone hit for me, and I think I've discussed it multiple times. My original goal has always been to at least get to mock interview 1 by Saturday, but yeah, I mean, Saturday is just 2 days away. I don't think I'll be able to get to mock interview 1, but looking at the level of DSA exams, I think I'll put a lot more hours into DSA moving forward, because me just practicing 2 to 3 problems as Sharpener is definitely not cutting it. I barely made it by a whisker this time, but I don't want to take such a bold, what do you say? I don't want to take such bold risks moving forward, right? So because I'm not doing this the first time around, I have tried to do the self-learning path, been to other boot camps. I basically have no other option. So I want to make things count. And yes, today's video is going to be longer than ever, but it'll also be a lot of fun. I gave a lot of info. I hope you found the information useful, and as always, thank you for watching the video. Do consider subscribing to the channel if you like the content. Do leave a comment on what are the things that you would like to see on the channel, and what actually brought you to the channel, how you got recommended the channel, how you came across my channel, whatever, right? I'd like to know that story as well from each of you. And yes, if you have a friend or relative looking to get into coding, web development, please do consider sharing them my channel. So if you feel that they can benefit from it, and that way they get to know, even if they don't watch my channel, it's fine, or even if they don't subscribe, it's fine, but if they at least understand that there's a platform like Sharpener which offers pay after placement, right? I think a lot of people will be interested. A lot of people who want to get into coding, it might be very beneficial for them. So that's about it. My brain's totally fried for the day, so I'll just have dinner and yeah, get some rest. Thank you guys. Thank you again for watching, staying tuned to the channel, and you for coming back to my channel for the update on how things are going. I hope to keep you guys entertained. I will do my best, right? And I'll definitely work on more problems, and I'll spend some time seeing how I can share some resources and where I solve problems, and if I'm able to share those websites or those problems with you, I think that'll help you as well. So I'll look into it and get back to you. Cool guys. See you in the next video then. Bye bye.